Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? My name is Rob Carmona, and welcome back to Rob the Mic for episode 18. So, I don't even know where to start today, honestly. The last week's been kind of a roller coaster, and I feel like that's going to be, for the most part, the theme of today's episode is just roller coaster at theme park all over the fucking place. And what I mean by that is I feel like it's been a lot of like really high highs and really low lows. I had some kind of mid moments, but it was pretty extreme for the most part. I'm telling you, it was either like really, really up there or like really, really down. And I was trying, as always, to try and think about like what I'm going to talk to you guys about today. And I think the biggest thing that kind of hit me was going over things that I've talked about in the past. And not like in general that we're going to run this whole episode back and it's going to be like a review type of shit. But what I mean by that is, as I was going through everything that I was going through, I was trying to think about stuff that I've talked about with you guys. So I was thinking about you guys. And I'm like, fuck, like what have I talked about, right? And what's going to benefit me right now? And one of the biggest things that hit me was probably the whole going with the flow concept. Because I realized at a certain point, I was fighting the current. I was fighting it. Everything that was coming at me, and I had to just give in. And honestly, once I gave in, certain days became a little bit easier than others, but for the most part, every single time that I gave in, things just moved. They just moved. It was fine. It was almost like I was like stuck and trying to like wiggle out of something, and then it just moved. It moved. I don't even know how else to say it. So I was trying to carry that as much as possible, and also just try and figure out where and how to manage my time and where to put my time, because that was a really big one too, right? And which is another concept that we've talked about before, like your time, your energy, and like where you put it. And one of the big things that I had to do for this weekend, and I say this weekend because last week I couldn't really do it, but over the weekend, was put my time and energy into stuff and people that I really, really loved. So everything that we're going to kind of cover today has to do with that. So I'll be touching base on those concepts, right? Like the going with the flow, putting your time and love into the things that you need, things that benefit you, and all of that. Because when I did that type of shit, that's what hit me the most. And honestly, from the entire weekend, and even some moments last week, but more so over the weekend, that's what hit me the hardest, was the moments that I was able to do stuff like that. When I was paying attention to me, what I needed, what I had to do, and what was going to make me smile, what was going to make me happy, or help me deal with certain, like the pain that I was dealing with and like the anxiety and things of the sort. So when I paid attention to those signs and I listened to myself, it was good and everything panned out. And a part of what was really going down last week, and kind of, I guess like the first or hardest, like lowest of low, was having to deal with my uncle. And I know I talk to you guys about that every single week, but it's important. It's really fucking important, because as much as I try to process it, I think it's also important for you guys, because everything that I'm feeling right now and everything that I'm trying my best to deal with, it does have, like, my uncle is a portion of that. He is a portion of my emotional state right now. And I think trying to deal with everything on my own is the dumbest shit that I could do. And granted, yes, I'm going to therapy and I talk to my therapist about it too, but it's not enough. It's not enough, because this constant state that myself and my family, this constant state that we're in right now, is this weird fucking place, because we're super helpless. We're just fucking sad. Everyone's fucking sad. We're trying to be cool and we're trying to look up about it. And at the end of the day, when certain things happen, it just reminds us like how powerless we really are in the situation. And like last week, starting Thursday, I believe, if not mistaken, starting from Thursday to Saturday, he was at the ER every single day. And it wasn't for anything like remotely minor. It was all like really heavy shit. And that's the problem, right? So we had these moments where everything's like stable, and then all of a sudden 911 gets called and it's a whole situation. So we're doing our best to manage with it all, but I think there was so much happening last week leading up to Saturday. And Saturday is a very important day because I ended up having like a really gnarly break. And I don't mean to break like in a good way, but like I just totally broke down. Like I lost my shit and it was really, really tough. But everything leading up to that, this has to deal with me going with the flow. So because I felt like I was trying to fight everything, and that's where I just had to give in. And me trying to fight everything just fell apart on Saturday because I couldn't fight it anymore. And by the time it hit me, I'm not going to say like it was already too late because it sounds kind of dumb to say that, but it was already too late in that sense. Like I couldn't repair or like process anything. So it came out in the wildest way. And not even wild. That's probably not even the fucking word to say, but it came out in a very like visceral way. That I would say for sure, because it was all over the fucking place. It was. So having to deal with seeing him that way and just him having to process and go through these things, I'm like, fuck, man, at the end of the day, there's nothing I can do. It doesn't matter what I do, who I call, where I go. There's nothing that I can do to help the situation or make anything better in reality. And it's been a big fight with him in general because he's sort of, I'm not even going to say sort of, like he's fully in the stage of denial. And it's really wild that he's this far in the process and still in denial about what's going on. But he pushes himself so hard. And the thing is, which I think I've talked about before with you guys, is that his energy levels are way fucking different. So for us, like, we can just move around and go do stuff, go run errands, whatever, right? And that can take us out by the end of the day, depending on how many errands you're running, where you're going, what you're doing. It could take you out, right? For him, we're talking about a couple of minutes of doing anything, any sort of physical activity. That shit will fully take him out. Because on top of him trying to do whatever it is that he's doing, he's insanely heavily medicated. So he's fighting the medication to try and do what he needs to do, but he doesn't have the physical strength to do it. And then the mental capacity comes into a whole different play because his mental state, he's in a really weird place. And the medication doesn't really help because it makes everything kind of foggy and it starts to meld like different thoughts, different things that have happened. And like he'll get stuff switched up and he'll just be like, oh yeah, yesterday this happened, but in reality that was like a week or two ago. Or he'll forget literally stuff that he just did a second ago. And granted, we forget that stuff too, right? Like everyone, we all have our moments where we're like, oh shit, where did I put my phone? But this is something completely different. Completely different. And he's trying to process so much of his business, so much of his family, everything at the same time. And for anyone who isn't dealing with this sort of like a heavy terminal illness, that's hard enough. For most of us, having to juggle work, personal life, family, anything else, that's already hard enough. So imagine, and actually, I mean, I would, again, don't imagine, but also at the same time, like imagine in a sense, having to do everything that you're doing right now, but having like 10% of the energy that you normally have and also being medicated. So you don't have the strength, again, mentally, physically, anything. So I'm trying to stay in the loop, trying to talk to my aunt and see what the hell's going on and process everything. But this shit fucking sucks, man. It sucks. And I hate talking about it to a certain extent because it's like, fuck, dude, it's super doom and gloom. But unfortunately, it's the reality of it. And also, not that it doesn't get talked about, but I feel like it also doesn't get talked about from this perspective very often. You normally hear it from the person who either has a terminal illness or something like that, but it's never, at least for myself, I haven't seen or like witnessed anyone that's kind of talked about it from our perspective, from the outside, because it's really fucking difficult on the outside too. It sucks. I'm not trying to compare it in any way. So please, anybody who's listening and or watching, that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying we have it equally as bad. What I'm saying is it does suck on our end, because it's one thing. Let's say your partner has a flu or something, right? Okay. You can go get them medicine. You can go get them anything. You can hit up Target and that's going to give you all the shit that you need. Hey, take all this stuff, take care of yourself, get rest, have some soup, do what you got to do, chill out. You'll be all right in a couple days. And they will be all right in a couple days. There's no doubt about it. You're good. But this isn't that type of thing. You can't just go to the store and go pick this shit up. So he's getting the best treatment that he can. And we all just have to sit here and watch it. And even when everything goes super downhill, the way it did last week, there's nothing we can do. And like a part of that, for example, was on Friday. One of those things that went down was he went to go have a chemo treatment and had a negative reaction to it. So another whole situation. And we're like, fuck, dude. So there's this treatment and this medicine that he needs, yet he can't have it because his body is like, fuck this. I don't fuck with this. Like, so, okay, what do we do? How do we attack this? What's happening? Because they process the medicine and do everything the day of, right? Because everything has to be done fresh for chemo, any sort of medicine that's being used or anything like that. So everything's prepared for this one thing in this one treatment. But again, when it goes bad, yes, they have plans. Yes, they have everything. Okay, if this doesn't work, we're going to use this type of shit. But you still don't plan for things to go wrong. You plan for them to go correctly, according to plan, right? That's the whole point of planning. Everything is supposed to follow in this sort of order. But again, with his adverse reaction, it fucking tossed everything out the window. And then after that, once everything ended up getting settled out, nothing got better. That's the problem. Even the next day or anything, like it's and that's not how chemo works, right? Like chemo, you don't just do it and then you feel better. That's not what I'm saying. But what I mean by things getting worse is just his pain and everything that he was feeling and dealing with. Just nothing got better in any way. And that it made it hard. It made everything hard. And like I had to see him. I was with him on I think it was Thursday, either Wednesday or Thursday, one of those days. And I was helping him to unload his truck and do this whole thing for his business. But he was trying to help me as best as he could. And I'm like, yo, just chill out for a minute. And he didn't want to listen. It's like, no, I'm going to help you. And we were like moving boxes. And it got to the point where I had to get loud with him. And I'm like, yo, you need to fucking chill. Like, just chill. Stop. Like, you look like shit. Sit down. Relax. It's not that serious. We're not in a rush. Let me just fucking do this. And mind you, when we were doing this process, this was a few minutes. He was maybe helping me for like 10-ish minutes. Maybe a little less. And he was wrecked. So I'm like, dude, you're working yourself into the ground. And for what? To move these boxes? It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. But it's moments like that. And then after I had a long, I'm not going to say a long talk, but we had a talk about it. And I'm like, dude, I know you want to do stuff. I know you want to just kind of go about life as if nothing's wrong. But the matter of the fact is that something is wrong. And it's okay that something is wrong. But you have to also realize there's things that you have to do, steps that you have to take so that you can get better, so that you can continue to do this stuff as if nothing was wrong. And that's where he and I've had this conversation before too, but this is where I was talking to you guys about discussing like past topics today. Part of that was going with the flow because it wasn't just me, it's for him too. I'm like, you got to just go with it. You got to give in. You got to let the water take you where it's going to take you. Because I'm like, you're constantly fighting the current with everything, whether you're fighting your medication, whether you're fighting your feelings, your physical ailment. Like, just give into it. Give into it. Chill out. You're in pain. You took your medication already. If you relax, the medication can do its thing. The pain meds can help relieve the pain. They're not going to take it away completely, because especially with what he's taking right now and the amount of pain that he's in, it's not that simple. It's not like taking an Advil. So I'm like, you're constantly fighting it. So just give in. So as I was talking to him about that stuff, I had to constantly remind myself every single day, especially after that day specifically, because I was trying to fight everything. I was fighting him, right? Even like I was just talking to you guys about, like, I was fighting him. I was fighting my family about it. I was fighting myself about it. And that I think that was the hardest fight of all of them, was fighting myself. Not that I was in denial, but just kind of like, I don't know. I just felt like I was in a hard spot and I was trying to fucking squeeze out and I couldn't. And I kept trying to suppress it all, being like, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. But it's not fine. And with everything, with all the therapy and the self-work, like, I know that. I fucking know better. And I knew what it was going to do. But yet I'm still trying to push it all down, because I'm like, oh, fuck all this, fuck all this. But I'm telling you, when Saturday hit, the crock pot just fucking exploded. So one thing, Saturday's plans ended up shifting up. So I had a certain day planned for a certain, like, I had some plans going on, right? Basically, those plans fell through, which to you guys and what we've been talking about is no surprise. I feel like at least once a week, some sort of plans or something falls through, and it's okay. But what I'm trying to do right now is realize and learn how to deal with that, like how to bounce back, right? Because it's like we've also discussed before. A lot of the times something will go down and then I just shut down about it. It makes me hella sad, or I'm just like, whatever. And then I just fucking chill. But I didn't want to do that. So Saturday shifted up completely. And I was like, okay. I had a hard time sleeping Friday night. So I woke up really early on Saturday. And I said, I was planning to go to an event on Sunday, which was going to be at Art of Attack RS Future in Rancho. And it was a super street event. So I was like, okay, well, either way, I have a really bad leak on my Q45, my front driver wheel. So I said, I got to get this addressed regardless, because even though I'm driving it locally, like taking it to Cars and Coffees and things like that, I'm having to put air so often because my leak is so fucking bad. And it was getting to the point where the leak was so fast. I'm like, dude, the last thing I need is a blowout DB something. This is going to be a really bad situation. And especially me driving to Rancho. Rancho's a little bit further out. So it's about roughly an hour from me. So I got to take that into consideration, because at the end of the day, if something does go down with the Q, dude, getting that car on a fucking flatbed is going to be a nightmare. So I didn't want to deal with that. I'm like, you know what? Let's nix all this shit right now. So I hit up my buddy Ivan at VJC Tires, and I'm like, bro, I need you. I got to come through. And I was trying to come see him earlier in the week because I was trying to get ahead of the problem, right? Or at least not be rushing before Sunday. But everything started going down with my uncle, so I couldn't get out there. And I mean, Ivan knows about the situation too. And I mean, thankfully, he's a good friend of mine and he's very understanding. So he's like, yeah, bro, come out here. We're going to close a little bit early today, but just get out here as soon as you can. Got the car up on jack stands, took the wheel off, tossed it in the truck. I dip out. Go get it situated. I'm handling it. I get a call from my aunt. Well, a text. And it's about my uncle. So we're talking about the situation, going through it. And the thing is, I didn't want to work on the car. That's not what I intended. I was like, at the same time, like, as much as I knew I wanted to do something on Sunday, I didn't have any gas or want or need to work on the car. I was like, this is fucking stupid. None of this shit matters, right? Especially with everything that was going on. I'm like, none of this shit matters. So at the end of the day, I also started thinking about another concept, which we've talked about here too, which is like the whole time and energy thing and where I'm going to put it. And I was like, look, I love my car. I do. I love the people that are involved around that process with the car and everything. I'm like, I need this. I need to put my time. I need to put my energy into this because I deserve it right now. I deserve a little bit of me time. I deserve to give myself something right now. And I think I actually need to do that. So that's why I did that. So I was like, fuck it. Put some time into the car. Do what I got to do. I get out to go see Ivan. We get the wheel handled. And thankfully, everything got situated because my inner bead was leaking super fucking bad. Like, it was nuts. We probably blasted the tire out to like 80 pounds. We put it in the tub. And basically what the tub is, for those of you guys who don't know, is it's literally like a half cut like box in a sense. It's not cut, but it's just like a half little like water tub. And it's filled with water, and you dunk your wheel in there and you spin it around to see where and if your wheel is leaking. So as soon as we put it in there, when the tire had 80 pounds, it was like a bubble bath, and it was the entire rear bead. So it wasn't seating properly. So it's like, okay, well, cool. Got that shit handled. And then on my way home, I'm trying to like process everything, and I'm just kind of going through it. And I ended up getting like another text, and I'm just like, oh, fuck, man. Like, I'm trying right now. Trying to do something for me, and I'm trying to just go with what my heart's telling me to do and be selfish for a couple minutes. And life's like, nah, what about this? So again, I'm just fighting it. And the whole way home, dude, I'm having this conversation with myself in the truck. Like, I'm fucking mad. Like a straight up madman. I'm like, well, what the fuck? How does this work? Why is it like this? What the fuck's happening? Well, what if I do this? What if I do that? Because I didn't know how else to deal with it. And I wasn't going to call like a homie and be like, oh, dude, this, and this, what's going on? Because I was also still at the tire shop. So when I was on my way home, not that I can't hear anyone if I call someone in my truck, but between the road noise and like just having to like talk a little louder because of the road noise, like the tire and stuff like that, I'm like, I don't want to do this. But I needed to have the conversation. So I ended up having it with myself. And when I get home, man, it just hit me. It hit me like a ton of bricks. And it was fucking nuts. I ended up having a really wild phone call, like an unexpected phone call. And I think after I had this unexpected phone call, that was a couple hours, which is kind of nuts. And after processing that conversation on top of everything else that I was kind of carrying from the last couple of days, I broke down. I fucking broke down. And it was, I don't know, it was really ugly because I was in the garage by myself and I was trying to keep it cool. And at first in the conversation with this person that I was talking to, I had the garage open and then I just closed it at a certain point because the conversation was getting a little more heavy. So once I finished, I was like in the middle of my garage pretty much. And I just like, I didn't even know what to do. And I just fucking broke down. I was a wreck. Like, I literally fell to the ground because I was crying so fucking hard. Like, my body didn't have the strength to hold me up. And I fucking shattered. And I'm there just like bawling my fucking eyes out. And I'm sitting like just fucking losing it. I'm like crying into my hands. And I remember looking down at my hands after because I was like I was a mess and they were just like wet. They were soaked because I was just losing it and I couldn't deal. So after, I ended up calling my buddy Albert and I'm like, hey dude, I fucking need you. Like, I know, and I was planning on seeing him the next day at Super Street. And what I figured was, okay, we'll go to Super Street, chill out, and then we'll go to his place after and, we can talk. But I couldn't fucking wait. I was like, I fucking need you. And it's wild, right? That happened like that because this was a part of me going with the flow. With this phone call, even with the phone call, like I went with the flow of that because I wasn't trying to talk to anyone at the moment when I got home, but then I had the phone call and I just started going with it, with wherever life took me. And the thing is too, even before I called Albert, like my mom came down and she's like, dude, are you okay? Like, what's up? And I started like venting to her and talking to her about a bunch of shit. And she's like, fuck, man. Because she knows too. I mean, my mom's dealing with a lot of the same shit that I am. But again, Saturday was just, it was all over the place. So at that point, I was like, this is what I need to do. I need to go see my brother. I need to go talk. I need to just be around people that are going to like help fill my cup back up, because I overflowed in the worst possible way. Because I feel like you get your cup every day, right? And you fill it with as much as you can, but it's filled with different things. It's not just like, oh, this is my positive cup. Oh, this is my negative cup. Oh, this is, no. It's not like that. At least for me, it's not. I have like one singular cup and it just gets filled with all kinds of different shit at the same time. It's like this really gnarly cocktail. But whatever happened on Saturday, like all the things that transpired ended up overflowing with this cup. Like my cup was just done. I didn't have anything left and it fell over. So I had to fill it back up. And the one thing I needed then and there is I was like, I need love. I need affection. I need compassion. I need all these things right now. I need somebody to listen to me and just hear me out, give me their 2 cents to a certain extent, and then just move forward. And I'm so glad that I did that and that I gave in to the current in that way. Because, and again, that kind of that's talking about both concepts, right? The whole going with the flow and where to put my time, love, effort, attention. Because that's where it needed to go. I needed to move with where my emotions were moving me to and go where I knew if I invested time with these people, with Albert and with Yessie, that it was going to give me so much love, affection, everything that I needed to push forward. And that's what I had to do. Because ultimately, if I was to just have stayed here home, I would have been a fucking wreck the entire day. I would have just been broken, fucked up. In my head, crying in my room, outside, wherever the fuck I was, I would have been a wreck. And I'm like, I can't allow that. I can't allow that. Not that it's, and I don't mean to like shut that shit out, but I can't stay in it. That's the problem, is like I couldn't allow myself to stay in that. It's okay to be sad and it's okay to not be okay. But in this situation, I was like, no, this is fully not okay. I don't want to feel this way. And that's when I recognized the fact that I didn't want to feel that way. That's when I had to make that decision, which was, again, to go to Albert and Yessie's. Because I was like, nope, got to fill the cup. Got to fill the cup. Let's run it up. Let's make it happen. It was the best thing I could have done. Like for the weekend, it was one of the best things I could have done, for sure. I even forgot to mention, like I had a moment of that on Friday because with my friends Jay and Sabrina, we have been trying to hang out and trying to do stuff the past couple weeks, and it hasn't been lining up. Life's been kind of a mess, but I had a moment on Friday night where I had time. They had time. We went to go have dinner, and I got to fill my cup a little bit with them too. And I feel like that was the start of the cup for Saturday, in a sense. Like when it overflowed, like that's what I still had left. And that's what kind of gave me the perspective to go see Albert and Yessie, because Jay and Sabrina gave me a little bit of that on Friday. Just kind of discussing what was going on and just laughing with them, dude. Because I always have such a good fucking time with them. Like, those are the people that I need. I need all of that. Like, if I can't get that from my friendships right now and any sort of relationship, then I can't fucking have it. Like, I need love. I need affection. I need understanding. I need compassion. Because it's a really sensitive time right now. Like, emotionally, I'm in a really sensitive spot where everything fucking hits me harder. And I tend to take shit personally, and I'm really trying to work on not taking it personally, because I need to start removing myself from situations. But it was hard to not take the weekend personally. It was hard to not let it hit me that way. Because I'm like, well, what the fuck do I do, man? Like, what the fuck do I do? how do I not take any of this? So having to kind of jump back and forth between what to do, how to fill my cup, where to go, where to be, who to be with. That was a lot. It took a lot out of me. So all in all, I'm really glad that I've even spoken to you guys about this stuff, because again, it gave me things to think about and be able to look back on and say, ah, shit, you know what? It's one of those things where you give people advice, but you never take your own advice. And I had a very small chance to take my own advice. And it's because of this project, because of doing this podcast with you guys, that I was able to remember that. And because I've also had conversations about these concepts with people outside of, this space, like talking with you guys. And that whether I'm talking with my buddy Alfredo or, somebody else, like another friend, Sam, or, fuck, dude, there's so many people. I'm like drawing a blank who the fuck I talked to about this shit. Another friend, Steven, like I bounce with all this shit back and forth so many times. And I'm like, I talk about this a lot. Why am I not taking my own advice? So again, I had that rare moment where I was able to. And in doing so, that's what helped me get through this weekend. And that's what's helped me get through the past couple of days. And what was really dope, you guys, honestly, is how fucked and hectic everything was leading up until Sunday. Because Sunday I woke up and I was pretty exhausted. I was pretty done because I got home from Albert's a little on the late side. I showered, did my thing, got in bed. I was like, yo, tomorrow's going to suck. But I was also telling myself, like, you can't think like that, because even though you're going to be tired, like, you can't put that energy out there. Like, we're not there yet. I woke up. I was feeling a little tired, but I felt like this sense of like hope that it was going to be a good day. And I was like, you know what? There's something. It's going to be a good day. So woke up super early. I went to put the wheels on the car because I had the car on stands. Put the wheels on the car, got everything set up, washed the car, got it ready. I contacted some of the homies that I was going to meet up with before. And I was like, hey, like, we're still good. Everyone's like, yeah, let's fucking run it. So I said, cool, let's run it up. So there I go. Get everything set up. I dip out to Rancho. I link up with my buddy Scrubby and Sid. It was probably the best thing I could have done for that morning. Because both of those guys, like, they're really fucking great. Really fucking great. Like, Scrubby's a new addition. We've been around each other, but we've never formally met. And what's funny is he's cool with Albert. And Albert's always wanted us to click in some way, like to meet, because we always miss each other, but we're in the same circle, especially within S Chassis. And then that's where Sid comes in, because Sid runs 240 Tuesday. And I always go to 240 Tuesday. Scrubby's always there too. But again, we always miss each other, or we just don't get introduced or something like that. So it wasn't like a negative thing. It was just a constant like misconnection, but we knew of each other because the people around us would talk about one another. And I met him on Saturday at Ivan's. Super random, unintentional, I was just there getting my wheel fixed, and then he pulled up and I was like, huh, that kind of looks like somebody, but more so his car. I recognize his car because I was like, oh, Albert just did his fenders, and I'm pretty sure that's the LS he just did. And then, so yeah, that was kind of cool. And then from there, that's what led to Sunday. So we link up, we're talking in the morning, shooting the shit. And we were waiting for Ivan, and fucking iPhone things. I had shared my location with Ivan, like, yo, this is where we're going to be. And I guess for some reason, the Find My thing on iPhone, it said that it was sharing it with him, but it didn't share it with him. Anyways, so miscommunication in the morning. And then, so we're like, okay, well, we're up the street from the meet. So we dip out, we head over to the meet, and it's already past 11 when we pull up, and we're like, fuck, dude. So Ivan was there, and they parked him he was the first car when you went inside the driveway for RS Future. And I mean, of course, dude, like, his fucking car is nuts. So he ended up taking his Mercedes, He has this like a newer style big body. I think it's like a S600, 500, 600. I don't know. Whatever it is, it's a fucking yacht. Like it's like dead ass. It's a yacht. So that thing's incredible. Beautiful as fuck. I love it. Actually, so you guys can see what I'm talking about, I'll insert a clip right here. Damn! So with that, you know, he got a prime spot, and then he came walking out when we were driving up, and they were turning people away. But as we were driving up, it was really cool because so RS Future is my buddy Amir Benetu, and his co-host, because he's going to be on a show with Motor Trend, or for Motor Trend, I should say. And his co-host Nads like saw us pulling up, and then I stopped really quick to talk to Ivan, and he was like, "Oh, dude, you know, I don't know where you're gonna park." But then Nads was like, "Yo, come through," and I had never met him up until that day. You know, so we pull up. It's myself, Sid, Scrubby. So it's just big body. It's just fucking yachts coming through. You know, they parked us right in the front. It was fucking sick. It was like surreal, super fucking cool. You know. And it's like, I love my car and I know what I've built, but I love seeing people's reactions, because it's not that I'm like jaded by it, but I kind of am, because I see this, and thankfully other homies have really gnarly cars too. So I'm used to seeing it. So I don't get like super, not like it takes a lot to wow me car wise. Because again, with all the homies and the stuff that I've kind of grown up with in the scene, I've seen a lot of really wild shit. So, you know, as we're pulling up, I started to realize like, oh shit, this actually is kind of a lot. Like there's a lot of chrome going on right now between the homies, and, you know, we got big cars. There's a lot of shit going on. This is cool. Parked this up. And then as I'm getting out of my car, Amir is walking down the driveway. And the thing about Amir is I've known Amir for well over a decade, like close to 15 years, close. I think it's like 13 years or something like that now, almost 14 years. So he's walking down the driveway and I'm like, yo, what's good? But there's like some glare on my windshield. So I don't know. He didn't really see me, but he was just coming over for the car. So I park up, you know, get out. And then he sees it. It's me. And it was the best thing, because it's been years since I've seen him. Years. Because the guy is busy, dude, you know? Professional time attack driver. He's on this show. And he's killing it. He's fucking killing it. Like, I am so insanely proud of him. Just to watch him do it and where he's come from. Because he's built his entire career by himself. And granted, yeah, there's been homies that have been supportive, you know, and help in any way that they can. But it's been him. He's the one that's put in the work. He's the one that's put in the time, especially the seat time, because he's out there killing it. And there's a reason why he's one of the fastest guys out there. It's not just because he's my homie. It's not just because I fuck with him. Not just because I love him. Like, he really is one of the fastest cats out there. And he's incredible. He's incredible to watch. He's incredible to listen to. And it just, all of that emotion just kind of hit. And when I grabbed him, like I just picked him up and I'm like, dude, it's so fucking good to see you. It's so good. Like I didn't even know how to deal with it myself. It was just like this wave, like massive, like a tsunami of like positivity. And that's what I needed. So putting my time and energy into this place, into this event, into this day, into that Sunday is exactly what I needed to do. That's where the current was taking me. And there was no point in fighting it. And I'm so glad that I didn't. Because again, it fucking blasted me. It was just like I don't even know how else to explain it to you guys. It hit me like a massive wave. And that entire day felt so good. It felt so fucking good because it was myself, all the homies, and it was just good vibes. And what I really wanted to do, and what I love to do is connect. Like, let's say I'm homies with these people over here, homies with these people over here. I like connecting that shit. And I don't do it with everybody because, of course, I know some people won't mesh with certain people. But in this situation, it was very, very different because I knew that this person, this person, this person, this person, if they fuck with them over there, the circle is about to get bigger for sure. So once people started shaking hands, I'm like, oh, hey, this is so-and-so. Hey, this is so-and-so. You know, oh, this is my boy. This is this. All of a sudden, it's all of us in a big ass circle, just busting up, laughing, having a couple drinks, chilling, living our best lives. And I remember like just kind of sitting there watching it all. And I was like, this is tight. Like, this is it. This is what this shit's all about. And it felt very nostalgic because we don't have too many moments. Because it's hard, right, to find like good events nowadays, especially chill ones that aren't going to be all stupid with all these fucking dickheads coming around, fucking it all up. So this was one of those rare moments in time that we really got to sit back and enjoy each other's company and just have a good time, talk about anything and everything, car related, life, all sorts of shit, but just enjoy each other's company. And all you heard was laughs and saw, when you looked around, you just saw nothing but smiles. And it was sick. It was the sickest fucking thing. So shouts to Art of Attack, RS Future, Super Street, Motor Trend for putting on a killer meet. It was fucking great. The quality of car was insane. That too, right? Like, you also never know when you're going to pull up. It's like, man, not that it's going to be a bunch of shit boxes, because especially there, that's not what you expect. But you know there's going to be clean cars. But then when you see a bunch of really clean cars, you're like, oh shit. Oh shit. So I will include some photos right here. So those were some of the cars that showed up. And I'm telling you, I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I just felt good. It was cool. It's where it's at in Rancho. It's like in a little cul-de-sac, but it's a really, really deep cul-de-sac, which is nice. So it's like, it was just badass cars parked everywhere, parked on the street, parked along the cul-de-sac, parked inside. You know, it was badass. You had race cars, you had drift cars, you had VIP, you had all kinds of shit from all over the place. And I'm like, man, this is wild. I love this shit. This is the shit that I'm here for. This is the shit I'm here for, and this is what I live for. Because it's like I've talked to you guys about before. There's people who do car shit, and it's like a secondary portion of their life. Like, oh, you know, yeah, cars are my hobby. For myself, it's not like that. It's not like that. It's never been that way. Cars are my entire life. And everyone who is around me, they fucking know that. Everybody knows that. Cars and trucks, anything with wheels on it is my fucking life. It's one of the first things I see when I wake up and one of the last things I see before I go to bed. It's the pictures that I have hanging over my bed. It's the backgrounds on my phone, the backgrounds on my computers. Like, it's my life. It is my life. It's not a part of it. It is that. So getting to have moments like this reinforce that. It totally does. And it's a trip because I remember one of my buddies saying on Sunday, he's like, dude, it's wild how you know people like all over the place. And I'm like, yeah, man, because I tried to build something that was sustainable. I wasn't trying to just do it to just say hello to people and walk away. Like, I was really trying to establish connections with these people that I was fucking with since back in the day, since I got in this shit. Because I wanted to build that lifelong thing, because it's tight to be able to say stuff like, I've known this person from the jump. I've known them for example, like Amir, like down near 15 years, man. Albert, same type of shit. You know, all the guys, like, I mean, you guys see the sweater right now, you know, like from WFC. Like these guys, I started with them back in like 2010. It's nuts. Nuts. Like, again, almost 15 years. And that's been a majority of my life, especially my adult life. Because, yeah, you know, I'm not saying it's my entire life, but as of right now at this stage, it kind of is. It's a big portion of it. A really, really big portion of it. And I love it. I wouldn't change it or give it up for the world. Like, no fucking way. Like, take me out. Take me out instead, because fuck that shit. This is everything to me. My cars, my homies, like, they're my family. And everybody knows that. And I want everybody to feel that sort of love, because it's for myself, it's what I love to receive. And I can't expect myself of other people. But thankfully, the people that I do fuck with, when we say hello, it's hugs. And it's not like this bullshit, like, you know, oh, nah, it's like come here. Like I'm going to grab you, bro. Like, bear hug shit. I want you to feel it. Feel the love that I have for you right now, because it's great to see you. It's not good to see you. It's great to see you. And when we leave, it's the same things. It's hugs. Text me when you get home. Appreciate you. Love you. It was great seeing you today. Love you, man. Love you tons. Because that's what I've always wanted, was to create that sort of family that was just based in that. That was based in that love and that return of happiness. It creates like this really beautiful cycle, because it's important. That whole creating this whole, like, you can't sit with us type of bullshit. I don't fuck with that. Like, I'm not with that. It's one thing to do that with the type of cars that you have, right? Because it's like we've talked about also before. I do think that there should be a degree of separation with cars. And at this meet on Sunday, it was very evident, because that was happening. And I'm so glad that they did that, because the closer that you got to RS, like to the shop, things were so curated. The cars that were there, either in the cul-de-sac, actually, no, anywhere in that cul-de-sac, once you hit that roundel, curated. There was no shit boxes there. And I'm not saying that the cars outside of the cul-de-sac were shit boxes, because they're not. There was insane cars outside of this cul-de-sac. But if you didn't park in there, it's either because it was packed up, like parking was all taken, and it's not even an or, but it's because everything that showed up, like let's say if you showed up on time, everything was cool, then you got placed there. You had a reason to be there. No one was going to tell you that you couldn't be there. And I think that's the heaviest thing, is like, you built something and you worked so hard, and everybody deserves their recognition. Everybody deserves their, like, you know, their quick dabs up, because you built something tight for you. And I mean, I can't even say for you, because not everybody builds for themselves. So I can't speak for everybody. But for myself, that car, the Q, that is like the gnarliest extension of myself, because that is a big portion of me. A big portion of me. Like, yes, I have my truck and it's really fucking badass. That's one portion of myself. And then I also have this too, which is another extension of me. Everything that I own and that I've built, I try to make as much of an extension of myself as possible, because I always wanted people to see that and be like, oh, that's Rob's car, or oh, that's Rob's truck, or oh, that's Rob's this. Because it should be. You should see that and be like, oh yeah, that's his. Even if you didn't know, be like, oh yeah, that makes sense for sure. So going through this process and just kind of seeing how Sunday went, I was like, yeah, man, these guys are fucking reinforcing this shit, bringing it back, creating that degree of separation, and just being like, hey, you're not here yet, but keep moving, keep building, keep putting your heart into this shit, and you're going to be right here soon, and probably sooner than you think. So it was tight, and I'm glad that Amir and Nads were so on it about that, hey, everyone who's parked right here, tip top, they deserve to be here. This is the shit we want to see here. No disrespect to anybody else, but they came on time and their builds are proper. So this is where you got to be. This is where you got to be. Simple. This is the shit we want to look at. So I say, all right, I'm about it. And the thing is, as the day went on, things just got better. So it was really dope. My cup just kept getting more full and more full and more full. And a friend of mine, Angel, showed up. otherwise known as Q50 Sun, which I've talked about. I want to say I've talked about him before too here on the podcast, but I'll show you guys his car real quick.
Trying to pre-CCTV, not trying to pop up, that's KMT. The rumors spread like flour. She don't want Pandora. Old friends turn crackhead like Lara. Act like I'm okay, deep down I just wanna go bara. No time but I made some fire. Brown skin on her like a aura.
So, his Infinity's fucking beautiful. And I always love any chance we get a chance to hang out with our cars. There's one just to kick it with him is fucking sick because I got a lot of love for Angel. And I have a couple Angels, so don't get them confused, y'all. So I got my Angel who is Q50 Sun, and then I have my other Angel, which is Yoda Nights, which, by the way, if you guys are free this weekend, the 10th, come through on Saturday because Yoda Nights is going to be pretty fucking rad. We didn't have it last month, but we're going to have it this month. And I'll be out there, Albert, a couple other homies. It's going to be a great night. So quick plug for that. Definitely check it out. Starts at 7. I'll plug up the address and stuff in the description for this video. So on this video. And then for those of you guys who are listening, check out the Instagram because I'll have it in the description of this episode. So I'll put all the information there for Yoda Nights. And anyways, yeah, so those are my two Angels. Anyways, jumping back on. So Angel, Q50 Sun, ended up showing up a little bit later, but it was great because I feel like he came at a good time. Things were kind of winding down. He parked up next to me, and our cars are it's cool to see them together because like mine is black, his is white, but our fitment looks so tight parked next to one another because we're running very, very similar, if not the same amount of camber. So it's tight to see just like the black, white, and then matching camber like next to each other because it's a lot to take in. So it's fucking cool. So we start talking a little bit, and he's one of those people that I can have really, really honest conversation with. And he also knows that he can have honest conversation with me and that I'm not going to judge him about it because that's not what I want, especially with my closer homies. And even like for anyone who's listening and or watching, like the conversations that I share with you guys are between us. And if I do talk about them here on this show, it's not to put you guys on blast. It's not. So I exclude details, exclude these things, but I do like sharing that I have certain conversations with people because this is what my life is, right? It's about conversations with people. And that's what this show is about, right? It's the conversations with people. It's how these things make up my life because every week that we talk about this stuff, you guys get a little bit more on why I am the way that I am and why these people who surround me that I continuously talk about, why I'm continuously talking about them. Because they constantly add to my cup. They constantly make me feel full. So when Angel showed up, on Sunday, and we're chilling, talking, it was interesting because you remember when I was talking to you guys about the Pink Motel show, the lowrider show that I went to? Like that was something that I wanted to do, and I needed to do it regardless if anyone was going to go with me. It was something I wanted to do for myself. And Angel had an experience with that. There was something he wanted to do, and things were just kind of falling through, and he ended up rolling out. He went to this hip hop event that there's a vendor that we both fuck with called Wishful Thinking. He's a calligrapher, really badass dude, super fucking sick. Everything that he prints and fucks with is all handmade. He's absolutely phenomenal human being. Like that guy is so fucking rad. If you guys ever see him like at a Patches and Pins expo event or some sort of like outdoor flea market, go talk to him, go shake his hand, go say what's up. I mean, go support and buy his shit too. But he's really fucking cool. And the thing is, he was going to be at this hip hop event because he stays within hip hop. That's a really big influence on what he does. And I had seen the event, but again, on Saturday, it was kind of a mess. I was like, there's no fucking way I'm going to make it. Well, that's what Angel ended up going to. He went by himself, and he's like, dude, I disconnected. I left my phone in the car, and he's like, bro, it was so tight. He's like, and I thought of you because of what you were talking about on your podcast. And He's like, it was fucking sick. And I'm like, you see, that's what's up. You gave yourself something. Like, even if you don't do it all the time, because I don't think you should just do stuff by yourself all the time. It's tight if you do, and there's no disrespect if you do shit like that. If you do it yourself all the time, that's cool. But let's say you're used to being around people and you love being around people. Sometimes if everything falls through, you still have to be able to give yourself the gift of your own time, of your own love, your own affection. And him taking charge of that was important. He needed that. He needed those couple hours just to disconnect and be happy with himself, enjoy his own company, and in something that he loves, which is music. And nobody could take it from him. Nobody was going to make him feel otherwise. And we were talking about the beauty in that. And as we were talking more and more, we were getting ready to leave, you know? So I go start warming my car up. He's warming his car up. And then my buddy Amir comes walking down the driveway. And he grabs me, gives me a big hug, and he's like, dude, it's so fucking good to see you. And then this is where shit gets wild in a positive way. Amir starts talking to Angel about me, like in front of me, right? But he starts saying all these insanely kind things. And like about the type of person that I am and like what I mean to him. And I'm still carrying, regardless, I'm as great of a day that Sunday was, I was still thinking about everything that had happened, especially from the day before. So I'm still like on an emotional journey at that point. And as he's talking about all this stuff with Angel, I'm losing it. And I feel tears start to come and I'm like, okay, like try to stay cool. Like, I don't have a problem crying in front of people, but I'm like, just try and keep it together. Like, it's fine. You know, you don't have to like lose it. But everything that he was saying was everything that I needed to hear. And I'm so thankful, blessed, any of those words. I'm all of that to have somebody like Amir in my life. Because it's very rare that you get people like that. It's one thing to get people who are cool with you and who fuck with you and all that. But to hear people talk about you like that without any hesitation is wild. And if you do have people like that, whether it's family, friends, anybody, cherish those people, you guys. Cherish them with every fucking ounce of you, because not everybody gets that gift. And if you can be that for somebody else, then show that, give them that gift. Because I promise you, it's going to fucking change their life and it's going to change your life. It's going to fill you up. Because at that point, when you can go on about somebody, this person's amazing. They bring me nothing but love, light, all of this. You exuding that sort of love, happiness, and positivity, I promise you, dude, that shit will fucking, it's going to come to you like a wave. Because putting that sort of energy and that sort of just good, putting that shit out into the universe, nah, man, like there's no way that you could receive bad back. At some point, it's gonna come back to you in some way. And you giving that gift to somebody is beautiful. So I had no idea. I just thought we were just gonna chill, the three of us, and have a conversation, right? As my car's warming up. I didn't know that my homie's gonna come up and start just going off about me in the most positive way. So as he's talking and as things are getting deeper and getting more heartfelt, I just fucking break. And I'm in tears. And I'm just like, dude, thank you so much. And Angel looks at me and he's like, fuck, man, this is wild. Because I've known Angel for a little bit, but like he's still a recent addition to my life. So there's a lot that he doesn't know, but he's coming to know over time. And obviously with listening to the podcast and just being more involved, like he's getting to see these things. And that was something that he got to experience. That was like, this is pretty nuts, man. This is pretty nuts. And it was a beautiful thing. And I've been thinking about it ever since, because it was a very humbling, incredible thing to experience. And I'm very, very fucking thankful for Amir. Very fucking thankful. I love that guy. I fucking love him with everything I got, every ounce of me. And so after that, the cars are already warmed up and all that, but Amir's like, yo, don't leave. So I'm like, okay, cool, I'll kick it. Angel's like, yo, I'm gonna roll out. I'm gonna go take care of some shit. So, you stay here, kick back with your boy. I ended up staying there with Amir. We're talking with him and his crew about all kinds of shit. Talking about art, talking about cars, all this stuff. Concepts of life, struggles, things that we deal with as creatives, how to get over these things, how we get overwhelmed with all this shit. And it was cool. It was so cool to talk with him and everyone who surrounds him on a daily basis, whether it's from the show, whether it's from his shop. Like, it was fucking sick. It was super fucking sick. And I'm very thankful for that entire day. Like, the entire day, I'm very fucking thankful for that. But there was a point in time where when that shift happened with Amir, after he came out and was talking with myself and Angel, it shifted even more into not like more of a beautiful thing, but it became this very intense emotion of just happiness and love that was funneling. Like, for me, it was just funneling into me because of the passion that he has and the love that he has for what he does for the people around him. And I was feeling it. And everybody around there was like, you could see it, because when he talks with passion. He talks with such intensity that you can't help but just listen and take it in. So as we're going through everything, he's getting busy and he's taking pictures, doing his media thing. And it's tight. It's tight watching your homie do shit like that, because you're like, fuck, bro, you fucking made it. You made it. And it was this really like heartwarming thing. So I'm about to get ready to head out, because I figured, they're kind of locking up shop. Everyone's getting ready to leave. And he's on the phone, walks past me, and he's like, hey, you're coming to dinner with us? And I didn't know, like, I wasn't expecting that. So it was like a very cool surprise, but I was like, yeah, yes. And he's like, yes, you're coming to dinner. Okay. Jumps back on his call, finishes that. And he's like, okay, follow me. It's like, fuck it. I don't even know where we're going. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what the fuck's going on. All I know is I'm about to get in my car and we're going to fucking be flying on the freeway. So we're flying on the freeway. Long story short, we end up at a Korean barbecue spot. And it's a bunch of his close homies that are already there. So we made it, like myself and the guy who basically did all the branding for the show and who like helps produce it and all that, this guy P. I was with him. And so we walk in, sit down, everyone's super fucking cool. And dude, it was just love. It was nothing but love at dinner. It was so fucking great. Like, we sit down and the couple that we're sitting in front of, like, they served us before they could serve themselves. And I was like, dude, it's cool, bro. I'm like, no, it's cool. Like, you guys have been cooking. Like, do what you got to do. Like, P and I can cook something up right now. They're like, no. Like, this is family shit. Y'all need to eat. So they served us up. And from right that moment forward, straight, just beautiful shit. Beautiful. The way everybody was interacting and laughing. And mind you, I had never met these people before. Never. Nobody that was at this table aside from Amir and his girlfriend Moy. That's it. Those are the only two people I knew prior to anyone else there. And there was, dude, I don't even know, 2, 4, 6, probably 15 people there. But they all treated me like family, like I had been there the entire time. Like, I didn't skip a beat with anything. So we're sitting there eating, talking, laughing, just cracking up about all kinds of shit. Soju starts flowing. Everyone's having a good time taking shots. And I'm like, this is so surreal, man. Like, I didn't expect this shit to go down. I didn't expect to spend the day with my homie that I haven't seen in a couple years. And to share all these laughs and all these beautiful moments. And I'm so fucking lucky and so thankful. So fucking thankful, I'm telling you. And I know I keep repeating myself, but it's like, I don't know how else to fucking say it. I really don't. I don't. Because that sort of love, that sort of affection, that sort of care, it was something that I needed so bad. And I ended up getting it without expecting it. And I think that's why I was so in shock about the day. And I wouldn't have wanted it or had it any other way. There's no everything was perfect. It was perfect. It was so great. And at the end of the night, we're just like, dude, massive hug, pick him up again. I'm like, I hope I get to fucking see you soon, dude. And he's like, yeah, hell yeah. We're not going years without seeing each other. There's no fucking way. He's like, I won't have it. I won't fucking have it. And it was just rad, you guys. It was so fucking rad. So that kind of set the precedent for the week. And honestly, it's been a pretty fucking great one so far. On Monday, I got to hang out with my little cousin. And she's not little, but to me, she's my little cousin, but she's going to be 20, not mistaken. But I got to catch up with her a little bit. So I got to spend some time with family, hang out, have a good time. And her and I don't get to do that very often because she goes to school in Arizona. So when she is here, it's very rare for us to get a moment again. So it was really beautiful to have that with her. And again, the good vibes still carried in from Sunday. So I'm like, here we go. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. No, this is good shit. Yesterday, same thing. Got to fill the cup even more. You know, it was 240 Tuesday. For those of you guys who don't know, this is the first time you're tuning into the episode. 240 Tuesday is an S chassis meet that's held at the Hat in Brea. First Tuesday of every month. My buddy Sid puts it on. It's fucking incredible. And honestly, last night was so great. It was so great. And the thing is, last month was kind of dead. It was cool. There was a little bit on the dead side. And we just had a feeling. We're like, dude, I don't know, man. I feel like this month is going to pop off. And sure enough, it popped off last night. Great cars. Like the quality of cars across the board was like, it was fucking sick. Whether it was drift. There was a heavy VIP presence, which was fucking cool. There was some Kaido. Like, there was even some trucks. Like, it was all over the place. All over the place. But it was fucking cool. The Hat was packed. The business was happy. Everybody was happy, smiling, eating, just vibing out. And I'm like, again, dude, like I had this moment where myself and all the homies, we're all kicking it. It's a great fucking time. And like, it's names that I've talked about on the show before. You know, it's myself, Albert, Sid, I got Gio, Cheeks, Zoe. Like, it's all of us just busting up, laughing, talking shit, telling stories, all this. Like, we were giving, for example, like our buddy Gio had come back from Texas. Hey, he came back and he's starting to grow his hair out. So he got his little curlies in the back, you know? And I'm like, dude, look at you. You all fucking Texas and shit. Fuck with your little curlies, doing your damn thing. So it was funny just giving him shit and like everyone just kind of going back and forth. Like the way it felt very nostalgic, like the way it used to be. And that was something that's a rare thing to experience nowadays. And we talk about it a lot. And especially with you guys, I've talked about it. Like I know on the episode that I talked about G-Side, so the Pink Motel event, I talked about that sort of camaraderie and that sort of family and that connection that the lowrider scene has and how we used to have that too. How Stance had that really, really heavy back in the day. You know, when you had when the big crews were around, you know, when it was, you know, fucking WFC, Low and Slow, Royal Flush, Royal Origin, Fat Lace was like just coming out, you know, so you had Stance Nation that was still building, not really there yet. But it was that era and it had something about it. And last night we got another taste of it. And I feel like slowly those little moments are starting to come up more. So it means that we're doing the right thing. The homies were creating something that is sustainable. And the more that we can create that environment for people to just make friends, be family, create memories, that's how this shit's going to flourish. And again, with having that last night, I'm like, fucking sick, dude. Like, this is it. This is it. This is all of it. So ended last night on a great note, catching up with friends, just feeling that love, feeling that good vibe. And I'm driving home and I'm like, damn, dude, this is fucking sick. Like, I was excited to talk to you guys about it because not that things have been negative and not that the podcast has been a little heavier, but it is heavy, right? Like, shit's been pretty heavy lately. But I love ending on these positive notes because these positive notes are really what make everything what it is. And I'm trying to look at all of that and like heighten it as much as I can, because it's the positive shit that really matters. Not that the negative shit doesn't, but I don't want it to tower over. Like, I don't want the negative to tower over the positive. So me sharing these things with you guys, like, I hope it reinforces everything that we've talked about before. The prioritizing your time, your energy, your love, where you're going to put that, and why it's so important to do those things, why it's so important to put your love where you need it to go. Listen to yourself, listen to your gut. Like we talk about constantly, listen to your gut. Your gut knows. That shit tells you. If it tells you you need some love, go get some love. And if it tells you you need a hug, go get a fucking hug. You need good shit, go get the good shit. Go do it. Fill yourself up. You have to fill yourself up. Because if you don't, nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody. And going with the flow. Just let the water take you where it's going to take you. Because if you keep fighting the current, I promise you, you're going to end up on a different path somewhere else, and you're not even going to know what the fuck to do with yourself or how to deal with it or anything. You're not going to know anything. But just give in. Give in. Say yes. It's, see what's up, because I bet you you're going to be surprised. I bet you you're going to be surprised for sure. And as a matter of fact, as we end every episode now, some sort of wisdom, piece of advice, anything, going off of just saying yes right now, the bit that I would give you guys is to start saying yes and watch things shift around you. Just start saying yes. Somebody hits you up to go get lunch. Let's say you got some stuff going on, but it's not really solid. Just say yeah. Yeah, for sure. Let's run it up. Let's go. You get a chance to spend time with your moms. She hits you up. Hey, mijo, you want to go get some breakfast? Or hey, you want to go for a walk or something? Yeah. Let's run it up. Let's go. Homies want to go to a fucking flea market. Random, out of the blue. Yeah, let's go. Because you never know what those things are going to bring you. You never know. And sometimes you need those little moments in life. And I'm not saying to say yes to everything. That's not what I'm saying. Because you can take that and run with it in a different way. And that can be really fucked up too. Because especially with work, you can say yes to too much. And all of a sudden you're overloaded and you're going to pass out. So don't do that. That's not what I mean. But stick with the flow. But again, just start saying yes and just watch things shift around you. Because I started noticing as I was saying yes to things, whether it was myself or what I needed, or yes to other people asking me shit or whatever, like we've talked about throughout this episode, right? As I just started saying yes to myself, that led me to Albert's. As I just started saying yes to myself, that led me to spending time with Jay and Sabrina. Saying yes and going with the flow let me spend time with a very old friend, Amir, and get to enjoy his company and everything that he is and everything that surrounds him, that he was able to open his doors up, open his world up to myself. And that was a beautiful thing. And I wouldn't have done that if I didn't say yes. If I didn't just let the water take me where it needed to take me. And that's where I was supposed to be. I was supposed to be with him. I had my time with my friends, my other homies throughout the day, and it was great. But then the flow said, okay, now we're going to go this way. You got to go here for a while. That's how I was like, yes. And then when the dinner came up, right, it was the whole thing, like, coming to dinner. I'm like, yes. Okay, cool. All right, just follow me. And even that, when he was like, okay, cool, just follow me. It hit me so hard of going with the flow, because I'm like, God damn it, just follow you. Cool. Let's run it up. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I really, really hope you guys enjoyed it. I appreciate you guys coming every week, listening, giving me feedback. For those of you guys who in the DM, anything like that, who start conversation and go about it, I appreciate you guys, every single one of you. And thank you for all and everything that you give me. So I appreciate you. Love you guys tons. I hope you have a great rest of your day, a great rest of your week, an incredible weekend. And I will see you guys next week for episode 19.